3 True Disturbing Bed and Breakfast Horror Stories. Welcome to a place where charm and terror collide. Bed and breakfasts are meant to be sanctuaries for weary travelers, providing warmth, hospitality, and comfort. But what if those calm, inviting facades held something sinister? Today I'll take you on a journey through 3 true stories where peaceful retreats turned into waking nightmares. Prepare yourself for these chilling accounts, and remember, sometimes the most welcoming places can be the most dangerous. Let's begin. It was supposed to be a quiet evening, the perfect rest stop between work trips. The bed and breakfast was a quaint countryside inn nestled in rolling hills, miles away from bustling cities. For one businessman, the photos of cozy rooms and sprawling meadows were exactly what he needed. Upon arriving, he was greeted by the kind elderly owner who showed him to his room, a small but comfortable corner suite illuminated by the soft glow of a reading lamp. He noted how eerily quiet it was at the inn, but chalked it up to the rural setting. As the owner left, she whispered a strange remark, "Enjoy the quiet. It's peaceful here." That night, the silence became unnerving. It wasn't long before it was broken. Around 1 a.m., faint knocking echoed from the walls of his room. He sat upright in bed, his pulse quickening. The knocks were rhythmic, deliberate, and without pattern. One knock from the left, then the right. There was no source, no explanation. Trying to dismiss it as perhaps old pipes or creaky walls, he settled back into bed. But then came the whispers, softer than the rustling of leaves, yet unmistakable. Terrified, he summoned the courage to open the door, only to find the hallway empty and still, as though nothing had happened. The next morning he woke up unsettled but determined to brush it off. However, as he prepared to leave, something stopped him dead in his tracks. There on the mirror, scrawled in what looked like condensation, were the words, "Don't follow them." Who had written it, and what did it mean? Before he could bring it to the attention of the owner, he vanished. When housekeeping arrived later, they found no sign of him except for a single packed suitcase and his untouched breakfast. The mystery of his disappearance was never solved. Locals say the inn itself is cursed, a place where guests check in but don't always check out. Nestled in a rural forested area, the old bed and breakfast was a picture-perfect setting for a couple looking for a romantic getaway. Emily and David had been working long hours and needed some time to reconnect. The inn's pristine gardens, vintage furnishings, and secluded location seemed idyllic. When they arrived, the hostess greeted them warmly, a woman in her 60s with a constant, unsettlingly wide smile. She seemed overjoyed to see them and explained that they were lucky to get the last available room. "The house is fully booked," she said, an edge of enthusiasm coloring her voice. Strangely, the couple didn't see any other guests during their stay. They commented on it over dinner in the small dining area meant to serve all patrons, empty tables, untouched place settings, and complete silence. "Maybe the other guests are just shy," David joked, but something felt off. That night, Emily woke to the creak of footsteps overhead. Curious, she ventured into the dim hallway. As she passed each door, she noticed something peculiar. They all appeared to be locked, and there was no light from under any of them. The house felt impossibly still and lifeless. The next day, the couple decided to explore the area. They entered a small antique shop in town, where the shopkeeper greeted them warmly but paused when they mentioned the inn. You're staying there?" she stammered. The couple nodded, confused. After some hesitation, the shopkeeper leaned in, whispering, "That place has a dark history. People arrive, but others say they never see guests check out." Disturbed, Emily and David returned to the inn, determined to investigate. While rummaging through the drawers in their room, they found an old, dust-coated notebook, its yellowed pages filled with journal entries. Each entry recounted a guest's stay at the inn. Most of the stories started with glowing praise, but eventually turned unsettling, describing an overwhelming presence, odd figures in the night, and even fears of never leaving. Before they could finish reading, the hostess knocked on their door. "Is everything all right?" she asked sweetly, her smile unwavering. Panic-stricken, the couple packed their bags and left in the dead of night, leaving behind all they couldn't gather in their haste. Months later, Emily checked the inn's website out of morbid curiosity. To her horror, the Lost Guests section featured photos of their belongings with a caption, "Looking for our most recent travelers." Sometimes solitude is medicine, and for Mia, a solo trip sounded like the perfect cure for her restless mind. She booked a small, oceanside bed and breakfast known for its antique-themed decor. She arrived on a foggy afternoon, the air salty and dense as waves crashed in the distance. The innkeeper, a soft-spoken man with a weathered face, helped carry her luggage to her second-floor room. It was a cozy setup, a four-poster bed, lace curtains swaying gently in the salty breeze, and an old wooden wardrobe in the corner. But one thing caught her eye immediately: the small closet was locked. Curious, Mia asked about it. The innkeeper simply replied, "That hasn't been opened in years. It's better left that way." While odd, she brushed it off and enjoyed her evening, watching the sunset over the ocean while sipping tea. That night, Mia had an unsettling dream. In it, she was submerged in water, unable to surface, while faint whispers echoed around her. She jolted awake, beads of sweat rolling down her face. Getting up to clear her head, she noticed the closet was now slightly ajar. The door she had last seen locked was open. Inside, the dim moonlight illuminated a stack of black and white photographs. She picked one up hesitantly. It was of a young couple staring blankly at the camera, their eyes hollow and cold. Another photo featured a single man sitting on the inn's front porch. He looked familiar. The realization hit her like ice. It was the innkeeper. Shocked and disturbed, she placed the photos back inside and slammed the closet door shut. Over the next 2 days, things became stranger. Mia began hearing her name whispered during the night. She saw shadows moving near her bed, though no one else was in the room. Determined to uncover the truth, she started asking locals about the inn. One old fisherman hesitantly told her the story. The original owner of the property had been obsessed with preserving memories. "They say he drowned his guests and captured their souls," the fisherman explained, his voice trembling. Terrified, Mia knew she had to leave. She packed her things and fled before dawn. But as she walked to her car, a strange feeling crept up her spine, compelling her to turn around. Standing in the hallway window was the innkeeper, holding one of the old photographs. Weeks later, while reviewing her beach photos, something made Mia's skin crawl. In the background of one of her images, hung on the wall in the inn's entryway, was a framed black and white photo of her. It couldn't be, but there she was, staring blankly into the lens. And so, we've come to the end of our journey. These bed and breakfasts started as idyllic escapes, but became tangled in tales of haunting, disappearance, and unspeakable horrors. What do these stories teach us? That even the warmest welcomes can mask the cruelest secrets. Next time you're tempted by the charm of an old inn, take a good hard look. Ask yourself, who or what might already be waiting for you behind those cozy walls? Thank you for watching, and sweet dreams. Fade to black.